Hello, hello, Studio 108 community. It is so good to be here today with Val Torino. Did I get it right?
Troiano.
Toriano. Well, just call her Val, honestly.
Please do.
When you meet Val, you will instantly be her friend because she is warm and vivacious and very caring and incredibly interesting. One of the things that we're going to talk about, like, she is so interesting that I had to just choose one thing to chat with her about today because we could be talking about so many.
We could.
We could, right?
Yes.
Like you have a lot of interests.
I do. And Kundalini, which I practice here, is one of them.
Kundalini yoga.
Yes.
Gardening.
Yeah.
The community of independence holds a really special place in your heart. You've given so much to the city.
Oh, yes, I do. I have, and the city has given a lot back to me.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
It's my, I have a little idea about service in that we need to serve those that are right in our world, our little families.
Right in our community, our neighbors, yeah.
And then we need to serve our communities.
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
then we need to serve our land and country. And we also need to serve the world. Yeah. So the way I go about things is I try to dedicate myself to each one of those things. And I was blessed enough to find myself in Independence.
Yeah.
Great town.
Yeah, great town. Yeah. So your immediate family, your community, your country, your world. Do you hear her?
The universe.
Interesting. Do you hear? Yeah, the universe. She's very interesting. So already like, very interesting. But today we are talking about human design because there aren't many people that have really studied and have an understanding of this particular methodology of understanding the human instrument and the human plan, path, and purpose. So human design is very unique, it's very multidimensional, it's very sophisticated, it's very accurate, and Val has studied it for a long time. So I was like, let's talk. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk to Val about human design. So.
Well, I started actually studying the gene keys with Richard Rudd, who was a student of Haru. I always get his name. It's
kind of like me saying your name.
Yeah, right. You know who I'm talking about,
and that's it,
right? Right. And anyway, so I started studying with him, and we were just talking about the puzzle pieces, right? So you could take a human being, and that can be 64,000 piece puzzle.
Yeah.
And each of the studies that one can encounter can take and break that down into larger pieces. And Richard Rudd had taken the human design system and really focused on the spiritual evolutionary growth of individuals. And this is what I studied for a very long time. And then also expanded that knowledge when I felt ready to encounter human design, because human design is a very complex system, which does require a lot of studying, and it's multi-dimensional in that we can look at a human being from the personality standpoint. We can look at the human being in their body in human design, which is the graph or chart of human design is in the body, because it is based on genetics and placements inside the body. And we can also look at psychology. We can look at the unconscious parts of ourselves, which I believe is the soul part of ourselves. And we can see these in all these different ways. So studying human design allowed me to bring to my human design practice, studying the gene keys allowed me to bring this spiritual, soulful aspect of growth.
Cool. All right. So I have a couple questions because I want to
Okay.
make sure that we're like really laying a foundation for people who have never heard about this before.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good
So-
idea.
Human design itself is a methodology that was channeled
Yes.
by
Rue, who?
Aruhu.
We're calling Rue.
Okay, we call him Rube. And it was channeled, I think, in the 80s. Is that correct?
Yes. And he was in a cave for a very long time getting this information. And basically, it is the addition of 2 chakras to the body. It's a split.
Gotcha.
So from going from a 7 chakra system to a 9 chakra system.
Okay.
And how I see that is it's part of our evolution,
Right.
as well as how it is traditionally seen. But I see that as, aren't we all learning more, growing more, expanding more?
100%. And if you think about what happened in the 80s, and the 80s was an evolutionary shift in human consciousness as people started what they're called, what they call the New Age movement.
Yes.
And so human psychology changed, the understanding of human life purpose changed, like on the whole planet, like things shifted, and he was getting this download of new information. So exactly. So then when you look at human design, it's got an aspect of astrology.
Yes.
It's got an aspect of the Kabbalah.
Yes.
It has an aspect of
The I Ching.
the I Ching.
The Chinese I Ching.
The Chinese I Ching. What else?
It's in the Chinese I Ching is 64 codes, which are genetic codes.
Oh.
Which is how the readings are in the body. So it becomes much more specific than maybe your sun and your moon and your Jupiter, which is all involved in it. As I said, it's the 64,000 piece puzzle.
Right.
So we are looking at very small increments of not only your physical body, your personality, your soul body, and how that all functions together, which is quantum human design.
And the quantum thing that was so interesting to me is because of course, I asked Val to do, like the minute she said human design, I was like all in, because I've been following the conversation. I've been reading the books. I've done online readings. I had readings with a couple other people. Honestly, life-changing. Like so very, 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 very meaningful. And honestly, you guys, I've never had anyone do a reading and give so much of their own heart and soul to loving me. So what I feel like what human design has brought to me is a deeper appreciation of how my body instrument functions, how energy moves through my form, how energy moves through my psyche, and kind of how things are woven together, so that there's an appreciation for my path and purpose, and there's this underlying gift of self-love.
Yes.
And you specifically
Yes.
interpret the charts in order to deliver that gift.
Yes. It is my life theme, my feeling of my life's purpose. It's documented in my design, but actually I discovered this in me long before I even understood human design. But the yoga studio that I have had, it was called First Love. So my email is valsfirstlove. First love meaning my desire is to not only to learn deeply to love myself, but to help others learn to deeply, deeply love themselves. And that's a concept that's very not been addressed all that much in our culture.
It hasn't. And even when you said, like, if we go service family, service communities, like first service self.
Right. Yes.
Like,
Without serving self first, you cannot be a vessel of love until you have given yourself compassion, giving yourself love, giving yourself understanding, and giving yourself forgiveness. You
It's
cannot
a
really offer
lifetime.
that to the
I
world.
mean, you guys, if you're young, like heads up and do your best. But I feel like it takes time to learn, and it takes experiences,
Oh, yes.
and it takes mistakes, and it takes crying and agonizing. It takes hating yourself to learn to love yourself.
It does. And when we look at the gene keys or human design, we always see shadow.
Gotcha.
And then as Richard Rudd's practice, the gene keys is set up, there's shadow, gift, and then city, which is, shadow or things we struggle with. And this is inside of everything. There is no, our goal is to come to the middle, not be operating in this shadow, operate in the gift and become enlightened and able to be a vessel of that gift out into the world.
Right.
So how do we do that?
Right.
Human design, gene keys, this is a way to be able to see yourself and to be seen by someone who understands the practice. And then have the discussion, do your work. It's a leading point. It's a point in. And it's a very well thought out and comprehensive system.
Val, this is a technical question.
Okay.
When we talked about human design and the components of it, we said the Kabbalah, the astrology, the I Ching, I Ching. Is there more?
There is concepts of Hinduism. There's every religion, in my viewpoint, really offers us something very similar, and it's woven into all of it.
But are the gene keys a part of human design?
Richard Rudd was a student, one of the original students of. And he has taken this spiritual aspect, and I will say that there is a very Christian element with regard to Richard's teaching. He's from England, but it's still the concepts of all of love. So we can talk about.
Okay, so wait, I want to ask just so that I'm clear. Richard was a student of Ruth, so he took the whole human design and decided, let me develop from that the gene keys, one aspect around the spirituality.
Right, and the gene keys has a very spiritual, soulful perspective. But that's one way to study human design.
Yeah.
There are a lot of ways to study human design.
I know a lot of people because I came to the human design conversation through my studies at Rama Institute around Kundalini Yoga. Specifically, Guru Jagat had a business school. So she would have practices and conversations around using the Kundalini Yoga practices for your self-development and self-empowerment, and how to use those practices to create success for yourself in a business mindset. So some of her people that she would bring in for conversations would be around human design, and human design in terms of your type, your motivators, but what's the word?
You are your authentic self, your voice, your I'm drawing blanks only because I'm a little overwhelmed by all the information. But let's say you have a type, manifesting generator, manifester. Manifesting generator is Leah.
Yes.
You're a manifester, very small amount of I told you, you're my Beyonce.
That's what she thinks of me.
That is what I think of her.
Let's clean your glasses. Don't clean your glasses.
Profile. Your profile is your numbers.
Okay.
So yes, in a human design reading, we're going to focus first on these big aspects.
And then, so I just want to like conclude the thought that when my previous conversations were all from that like business coaching model, which is using those big categories to say, this is how you would best market to people. This is how you would best engage with your audience. This is how you would best organize your services. So that was really helpful. But Val's conversation is a little bit deeper.
Right, exactly. And part of that is studying for Richard and my interest. I mean, my true interest in seeing a person as a quantum being.
Yeah.
And all parts of them, and my interest in reaching our potential. Yeah. And enjoying life at the same time. You know, we're supposed to enjoy life.
Yeah. Like, how much more do you enjoy life when you have this appreciation of who you are and how you work?
Exactly, and an understanding and a acceptance.
Yes.
I think Rue said that he had done thousands and thousands of readings, and he said 90% of people don't really like themselves.
Yeah.
And I find that that's probably pretty true. Now, if we don't like ourselves, well, where's the love coming from?
Well, and if we don't like ourselves, there's so much personality dysfunction.
Yes.
Because we're constantly maneuvering to find somebody else to put salve on the wound.
And that's very evident in human design when you look at the shadow.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to help someone with, you know, the things that are really tripping them up in the way they think and the way they act, I can look at their open centers, for example, at their hanging gates, and be able to say, I can see that you're motivated by something that isn't really necessarily a part of the beauty of this design. Yeah. Because you are conditioned to think by the world, by our parents, by everything, that you've taken on a perception. That's the not self in human design.
Right.
When you're acting out of shadow, conditioned thoughts. So we try to help people to see the real gifting and operate out of that, and realize and be assured of the beauty of their being.
And then there's something really like concrete when Val goes through a chart and shows you, like, okay, maybe you're operating out of this or that, which are your, you know, weaker parts. These are the things that are tripping you up. But then she shows you, here's this gift you have. Here's this ease that you can tap into.
Yes.
Here's this beauty that you're here to share. And it's like, she's pointing to it on the paper, and it's blue or red or green, or, you know, like it's a colorful little thing going on. And I'm like, oh, so then the awareness can shift to what, like how uniquely wonderful I'm designed, how uniquely wonderful you're designed, and how each of us being that unique, wonderful expression is so like necessary.
This is where you serve. This is how that service in the best of ways comes about, in the ease of it.
Yeah.
And the naturalness. You know, I think that one of the things that happens with individuals is that they don't really appreciate what comes natural to them.
Oh my gosh, right?
Right.
If it's easy, it should kind of be a yes, but we take it for granted.
Right. Well, we sort of say, well, it's easy. That it can't be that great.
Stupid.
It's easy. Right?
Or in this society, no one's going to pay me for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is operate from seeing the beauty of all aspects of ourselves, even the aspects that we need to develop from shadow into gift, into the highest form of the gift itself.
Val, would you go through each type, like you started Manifestor Manny Jenny, would you go through each type and give folks like a little synopsis
Okay.
and maybe even a real life example of someone
Okay.
or something like
Oh, well, the majority of the population are generators. I
Okay.
think it's 39%, or you say majority because there's,
Yeah, there's
several
really two,
different
yeah.
types, right? And inside types, there's types,
Yeah.
right? So you have
So
an emotional generator.
We're starting like at the grossest,
Yeah,
most basic.
We're working on the 10-piece puzzle,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So a generator, which is what I am,
Mhm.
and a manifesting generator are it's a generator and a manifesting generator. Manifestors are like part of generator, part of manifestors.
Okay.
So as a generator, and I'm an emotional generator, what we want to learn to do is rely on the response of our emotions in helping us to make decisions. Part of human design is getting out of the head
Uh-huh.
and allowing ourselves to learn to experience the body and what the body is telling us, and how things feel in the body, which is why the genetic codes are part of this. So now a manifesting generator is a person who has, oh, excuse me, I'm going to go back 1 second. A generator is to respond.
Okay, so a generator works in their highest alignment when they respond to the invitations of others.
Yes. And the response has to go into them, and they have to feel that, yes, this is the thing to do.
Yeah, one of the cues or one of the things I remember reading about generators is that you should ask them like yes or no and have them answer you
Yes.
because it's a real like gut answer.
Yes, because the body actually can speak to you as a generator, and the manifesting generators also, which is what I started in. Manifesting generators have these two elements of manifestors and generators. So they do have this process of healing and going through the body. They're also creators. Whereas, when they go through their process and are invited into something, they can create.
But they still have to be, so the
They
generators
still respond.
Yeah, the generators, they wait for the invitation, they respond. The manifesting generators, they wait for the invitation, they respond. The generators I think of as like those people that can just do the job every day. They're reliable, they're steady paced work.
Right.
Kind of.
Right. Where the worker bees.
Right. The manifesting generators have more of that initiating creativity.
Yes.
Or creativity, but not initiating. Creativity.
It's a responsive
creativity. Okay.
But responsive can mean not just to another person, but to an environment, to a concept. And it's the same thing with the generator.
Okay.
It's about allowing information and invitation to come into you, and you allow the process to happen. Not your head, not what you think you should be doing, not what the world tells you, not what your parents set you up to be, but where are the opportunities? And when we do not respond, we usually find ourselves in places that are not suited for us.
Yeah, kind of out of alignment. And then you don't feel
out
good.
of alignment, right.
And then you kind of don't feel good, and you don't like your job, and you don't want to get up in the morning.
Right.
So, okay.
There's a lot of trust that has to happen with generators and manifesting generators, and projectors also, because they are also responsive.
Don't say them yet. Don't say them yet.
Right.
Okay. Generators, manifesting generators. Tell us about manifestors because we want to make that bridge between the many Jennies.
Manifestors are a person that gets things done. They make it happen. They're the ones who are offering us the invitation. This is what you are. They're the ones who are building things. And then they have this incredible creative energy. But they have to rely on others to help them get it done.
You can't do it all I can't
You
do it all
can't.
myself. And I know, like, I'm a manifestor, so I'm speaking for my own self. I love creating things, but once it's created, I'm like, okay, and I'm on to the
Yes.
next thing. And
Yes,
so I need people, once I create it, okay, and then I need people to come in and like generators and mani generators who can kind of like do that day-to-day stuff and hold the energy steady.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it's a wonderful example of how we all have to work together to make these things happen. If we all want to be the superstar, there's not anybody that's going to be able to do the work. We're all superstars in what we are assigned and given to do.
Yeah, and my thought is there are probably superstars of every category anyway, because there are people, famous people in every
Oh,
design.
absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yes,
there are like superstars.
absolutely.
But
Yes.
yeah, for sure, not all of us can be the front runner creative energy, but we can kind of support that and be the team with it because we need the whole team. So
yes,
we've got,
and we all shine when we're,
yeah,
I mean, we're shining. We are taking our place. We are contributing value in it that no one else can fill. No one else can really fill
right,
what you as an individual can bring to the table.
right.
So, yeah, that's our workforce there.
Right.
But projectors.
Okay, so we have those three, and then we have two more. Projectors. Now,
Projectors.
they're a small group of people.
They
too.
are, they're a small group of people, and they are driven also by response. And they are also driven by their feelings and the processing of it. And they are the ones that are the talent agents. They see all of people's talents, and they have the ability to connect people and source out and bring together. And it's so interesting because, you know, we could see these types of designs in the talent agent or in the headhunter, right?
Actually, Buddha Jagat's birthday is today, and she was a projector, and she was really good at seeing potential in people and knowing instantly like where
Yes.
they would go and how they would work and what needed to happen to bring success to all the people.
Right.
And she had an incredible team.
So we all need
Yeah.
projectors
Yeah.
in our life. Also, they're wonderful at encouraging us. I have several projectors in my life that, you know, if I made a list of those who are on my team that I trust, those projectors are there.
Yeah.
Because they have the ability to really see clearly the truth of a person. And they're oftentimes, you know, teachers and just wonderfully supportive human beings. Many roles that they can fit into.
Yeah.
And then there's the reflectors.
Last of all, reflectors.
Reflectors are completely open in human design. And if you recall what I said earlier, our open centers, things that are not colored in, they're not consistent energy sources and consistent patterns for us. They reflect what's going on in the world.
God.
So they have a very big, unique, and demanding job.
Right.
And that is the evaluation and understanding of not only what is happening all around, but what's happening in between themselves and others. So,
interesting.
Yes, that's 1% of the population.
Yeah.
And I do know some reflectors, and it is a very challenging design.
Yeah.
But so necessary, so vital, and so important because they really have the ability to keep us understanding. They're reflecting back to us. What is going on? Who are we being now? It's a very big job.
Yeah, on a soul level, it's a very big job.
Oh,
And in the
it's-
human, it has to be hard.
Oh, yes, it's very difficult.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the human, it's hard.
But, you know, difficult often means really important,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Like that's like the spiritual oxymoron
Right,
of being Earth.
right. Grace
The
is
big,
suffering.
the big things on Earth are actually very small and spiritual, and the small things on Earth are actually very big.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just recap that.
Okay.
Generators, manifesting generators, manifestors, projectors, reflectors. So these 5 different, or do I call them types?
Yes,
Okay, 5
types.
different types. And then you like kind of gave some clues that there are different motivating factors within each one,
Yes.
in different ways that energy is processed. You gave some clues that there were different gates, like different ways that the energy are flowing from one center to the other.
Yes.
And then there are also those things along the sides of the chart. What is that?
Well, that is the astrological aspects
Okay.
that are assigned into the placements in the body.
Gotcha.
This is how the design is made, the graph or chart
Yeah.
is made. But on the right hand side, in black column, this is your personality, and this match up astrologically.
Gotcha.
And so you have your sun, your moon, your north and south nodes, and your Venus, Mercury, Mars, Pluto, Jupiter, and we can study the placement of those in a very detailed way, because it's the mandala of the I Ching is it's 5 positions, 6 positions inside of every number.
Uh-huh.
So this is why I'm saying, if astrology is 120,000 piece puzzle, human design is a 64,000 piece puzzle. So we can get much more specific, and then which each of those lines have a certain expression.
Yeah. So the right hand side is personality, the left hand
side is 88 degrees of the birth date, which is approximately 80 days before birth, which is considered when the soul enters the body. So this is an unconscious part of ourselves, that light within us that maybe we start getting to know, but without study we don't really know, right?
Yeah, a lot of people leave without ever really knowing who they are that way.
Right, in that way. And
so
that's where my focus really is, in helping people to understand that soul nature of themselves and marry it with the experience of being in a body, marry it with the experience of the personality that we have.
Yeah, and how it's working for you or not working for you.
Right.
Like how it's shaping your life. I mean, these are the things that shape our lives.
Right.
That determine the decisions we make and the ideas we pursue or don't pursue, or like all of it.
Yes.
I love that.
Okay. And our perspectives. Perspectives are a really, really important thing. And I think that, like, in a reading that I do, I think that's something that oftentimes happens is, wait a minute, I see this now from a different perspective. And that can change everything.
Yeah, and seeing it from a different perspective is like Val's like saying, this is your gift. Do you want it? Like, do you want it? Do you want to live with it? Is there something you could do with this gift? Like,
or sometimes we don't even know that we have it.
Yeah.
And we don't even know that we're already doing it.
Yeah.
So that's like very exciting.
Yeah.
Because as I said, sometimes we don't really value it. But when a person puts it in front of you and helps you to understand how important this is in life, then that can change everything.
And like, okay, so like if you're on YouTube, then you can see. But if you're on the audio on Spotify or Apple, like she's just so loving and so joyful. So yes, when somebody points it out to you with so much like heartfelt appreciation for who you are, then it's life changing.
Yes.
Oh, I
And that's
love that
what
we
we
came back to
want.
this. That's what we want. And we came full
We
circle.
want.
So if you get the idea that human design is just like confusingly, overwhelmingly complicated, you might be onto something.
I think you're right.
I think you're right. But the good news is that we can get you in touch with Val. Her information will be at the bottom of the description here, and you can schedule a reading with her. You will give her your birth date, place, time, like those details, and she will run your chart. You can go ahead and do it online if you want something, they can run your chart online, but it really is an experience to have someone look at it and unpack it from her perspective, which is so very unique, in my experience, and so very beautiful to sit with her. So you have to give her some time to work on it because she
Yes.
dives really deep. She studies your chart,
I do.
and then she will present with you, her findings and give you really a lovely session. Yeah.
To fill yourself up with new
Yeah,
love.
with new love and appreciation
Yes.
for every single little bit of who you are and why you're here. And yeah, I love that. I love you. Thank you.
I love you too.
I know.
Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste, Studio 108 community. Thank you for following.
Namaste.
Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Keep us going so that we can keep bringing you more great ideas like this.